Coming up next on Latinas, we celebrate Black History Month and learn about Zelda Valdez. Meet Afro Latina dancer Katherine Jimenez, and so much more. Latinas starts now. Welcome to Latinas, the show that's for and all about nosotras. I'm Tinabeth Piña. Since February is National Chocolate Month, we're here at Maribel, New York, a chocolate shop in Soho with a unique collection of rare and delicate chocolates. And guess what? This shop is founded and run by Latina Maribel Lieberman. Wepa! I love it when women, specifically Latinas, are at the forefront. And Lulada Club is a perfect example of just that. The all-female salsa band has been making a name for itself throughout New York City with its vibrant sounds and contagious energy. Correspondent Elena Romero caught up with two of its founders in Brooklyn to learn more.
If you look at a list of all the salsa bands, and now I'm talking specifically like salsa, lura, and these big bands, there's no all-female bands. I think the pop, the Lizzos and the Beyoncés, they got their all-girl bands, and I'm like, yes, I'm here for it, I love it, and I want to see more of it, and I wasn't gonna wait around for somebody else to do it, so I did it myself.
Vocalist and band leader Andrea Chavarro has curated a collective of vibrant New York-based female musicians who collectively play salsa as the Lulada Club.
We're not 70-year-old men that have been playing salsa for 50 years. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like young New York women interpreting the genre. And I would say we really respect it and try to stay very true to it.
We like to showcase all of our members and show the audience how badass they really are.
Inspired by their Colombian heritage, the powerhouse band interprets vintage tropical salsa, mixing the classics across Latin America and the diaspora.
The way I sing salsa wouldn't be like the typical female vocals that you would hear in salsa. I bring my own power and interpretation to it, but you still hear some silky and smoother vocals that I think I bring from jazz. And then some bigger, slightly operatic vocals that you would hear in boleros, because it's also a genre that I really like to interpret. So it's just very me.
When we do more down-tempo bolero stuff, it can be, very, we pay attention to details, it's very nice, it's very melodic. And then when we're doing something that goes hard, we go hard. So I think all the girls that bring their experience make it so that, we have a big sound.
Social media has played a huge role in the band's success, which is named after a traditional Colombian beverage.
Lulada, because I wanted to pay homage to Cali, which is, to me, the city that gifted me salsa.
Founded a year ago, Lulada Club has played at the Loisaida Festival, at the launch party for Maluma's Mezcal brand Contraluz in Williamsburg, and Lincoln Center.
We got to play for the launch party. It was really cool, and we got to meet Maluma, and he shouted us out, and I'm still waiting for him to call us because he said he was gonna hire us. So yeah, lots of amazing things happened. We got to close off the year with Lincoln Center, which is to me, unbelievable, amazing. It was a great show, and it was just also such a privilege and an honor to be able to play there and to be considered with not even, 9 months of existing as a band.
Lulada Club sees a bright future ahead with the development of original songs, a full-length album, and collaborations with other female bands.
We really want to do a big bang project where we have a lot more girls on stage playing instruments, some more trombones, some more trumpets, and we want to do something that's very reminiscent of the 40s and the 50s, kind of mambo, big band style.
We hope to just continue to inspire other women to put their bands together or to, I don't know, join our band, join their local band, but just get on stage and do what they want.
For Latinas, I'm Elena Romero.
Lulada, Lulada ya llegó. As the immigrant population grows in New York, so does the demand for bilingual programs in public schools. Correspondent Marlene Peralta follows two teachers who serve bilingual students in today's Prospecto Latina.
Latinas have been instrumental to the creation and expansion of bilingual education in New York. Take the Trailblazer Puerto Rican educator Antonia Pantoja, for example, who won the fight in the 1970s to establish bilingual programs in New York City after suing its Department of Education for failing to adequately provide resources to Latinos, particularly Puerto Rican students, the majority of English language learners at the time.
Can we count them? Let's go, let's count. Yeah.
Today, Latinas are among the many bilingual teachers and those training a new generation of bilingual educators. We met two of them, Dr. Carla España, a Chilena author who now teaches bilingual education at Brooklyn College.
Right now, we are in a critical moment where there is a huge demand for bilingual support and our bilingual programs.
She attributes this huge demand in part to the arrival of thousands of children of asylum seekers from South and Central America.
Colonialism continues to have an impact across the world. And given that reality, our bilingual education programs are in great demand because our students need that support. So whether they are coming from Venezuela and they are only speaking in Spanish and we want to make sure they feel welcomed in our New York City schools, or they're coming from Ukraine.
We also met Lehman graduate Yulisa Freire, the founder of La Escuelita de Sofia, a private dual-language preschool in the Bronx. She says that there is also a demand for bilingual programs from U.S.-born parents starting at pre-K.
We have these parents that are seeking to not only preserve the language, but the culture, you know? We have the culture, we have the language, so they want to preserve it because we're losing it.
For Julissa, the daughter of Ecuadorian parents who attended bilingual programs as a child growing up in Queens, providing a curriculum that includes culture is personal.
We have like a blend of the Montessori and the Reggio Emilia. We blend it, and of course we add other curriculums from South America and Central America, where we sing all these songs that, you know, that were taught to us when we were children, como los pollitos dicen pío pío, etc., etc.
The expansion of bilingual education in New York City alone has been significant, with the New York City's Department of Education offering over 200 programs in 13 languages. The demand is so high that the current administration of Mayor Eric Adams is focusing on increasing the number of bilingual teachers. There are two types of bilingual programs, dual language and transitional bilingual.
Transitional bilingual programs are a bit different because that's an assimilationist model. It's moving you towards English. Whereas dual language will develop your bilingualism and your biculturalism by saying we will continue instruction in Spanish and English.
Dr. España also points out that bilingual education is undergoing a transformation with the push for translanguaging as a transformative teaching style, which is the focus of her latest book.
Translanguaging is just the way we communicate as bilingual beings. We have one language repertoire and we use features of those languages that exist. I'm very grateful that I came to this country, grew up in New York City because I got to expand my Spanish. And I get sometimes se me sale lo dominicana because I taught for years with Dominican students, but I'm around so many Puerto Rican friends that, you know. So I think that's beautiful.
For Latinas, I am Marlene Peralta.
Higher education is a place where there aren't as many Latinas as there should be. But why? 3 profesoras are about to discuss that very topic in today's Caliente Caliente.
When I started in philosophy, there were 3 in the country of Latina philosophy professors. And there's about 10,000 philosophers in the country. So we need to create pipelines and PhD programs.
And I think the pipelines are really important. We need to invest, we need to focus on our students. Students can do it, but they have many challenges, right? And one of them is economic challenges. So how do we address those challenges? Well, we start giving them tuition, right? Fellowships that they can capitalize on. If they need to work, let them work as an undergraduate research assistant, right? And so you teach them things that they will be learning, that they need to know for the graduate level. And so, yeah, we need those kinds of programs that will support the students, give them what they need, and definitely hire more, right, Latinas and Latinos, Latinxes to serve as their professors, because they really need to see them there. So really important part. So the pipeline is critical.
So when you talk about creating these pipelines and creating the funding, it's really important. It's really important. I don't own a house because I'm paying off those loans. We want to raise these young Latina intellectuals into folks who can have their casita, into folks who can create a scholarship for someone else.
Yes, I feel like I sort of got through the eye of the needle when I got my degree, because I'm a high school dropout. I got my GED, and then I went to college, and I dropped out of college. And when I started my PhD, I had 2 small children. And I want to tell my students this because I want them to know you don't have to like go through this straight and narrow, perfect path in order to be able to succeed in the academy and becoming a professor. Even if you drop out of high school, even if you drop out of college, even if you have no money, it is possible.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a product of funding that is given to folks who can't make it on their own at certain periods in time. Tap and Pell helps me through. If that wasn't there, I wouldn't have finished. I wouldn't have even started college. And then, of course, the NIMH grant that I got, the fellowship, that helped me through my PhD. So I only, spent like $500, that I owed, which is amazing, right, in terms of a doctoral degree. So I am the product of people investing and believing that certain opportunities should be given equitably to all peoples, including Latinxes and Latinas, right? And so I think that we need to create those opportunities for others who come, behind us, and we need to propel them to continue further and to encourage them. And I think, us being in the classroom, that makes a huge difference.
I'm so glad that you shared a little bit about your origin stories, because I really did not see my path very clearly. And it isn't a straight line. It never is. I hope that this is an invitation. This is an invitation for folks. And I hope that they see we are only 3 here. There are so many of us, and we really do need to recognize Latinas more and more. So I'm very hopeful. I see it happening, and it's going to keep happening.
Zelda Wynn Valdes was an Afro-Latina fashion designer and costumer who became one of the most influential designers of our time. Born in 1905 in Pennsylvania, Zelda moved to New York in the 1930s and got a job as a stock girl at a high-end boutique. She eventually worked her way up and became the shop's first black sales clerk and tailor. Years later, in 1948, Valdes opened up her own shop, Chez Zelda, designing low-cut, body-hugging gowns for celebrities like Eartha Kitt, Ella Fitzgerald, and Mae West, defining the sensual old Hollywood look of the time. In 1958, Hugh Hefner commissioned Valdes to design the uniforms for his waitresses, which eventually became the iconic Playboy bunny costume we know today. At the age of 65, Valdez showed no signs of slowing down, and in 1970, she worked with the Dance Theater of Harlem and came up with the idea of dyeing dancers' tights to match their skin tone. She continued to work with the Dance Theater of Harlem until her death in 2001 at the age of 96. With such enduring contributions to the fashion industry, Zelda Wynn Valdes is today's Badass Latina. February is also known as the month of love. But when it comes to dating, does age really matter, or is age just a number? We're about to find out.
I haven't really, dated younger, so I'm a little nervous.
They're fun.
Because Lord knows, the older guys just aren't cutting it right now.
Dating men my age is god-awful. The most singlest guys that I've met are married. I don't want nobody's husband.
In Hulu's Back in the Groove TV series, 3 single women in their 40s head to the Dominican Republic to rediscover their youth and hopefully find love with men half their age.
Age is truly just a number, because there's older men that don't have their stuff together and there's younger guys that do, and vice versa. So it's like, for me, it's, instead of looking at the age, I look more at the character.
After undergoing a double mastectomy in 2021, single mom Steph Michaels was grateful to be cancer-free and wanted to give love another shot by checking into the Groove Hotel. But ultimately, she checked out of the hotel solo.
Wow. I knew that I needed to leave by myself. I knew that I needed to continue this journey that I had just begun and not stop myself short. I went there for me and I left there for me.
Although Steph decided to not date someone almost half her age on the show, the average age difference between couples in the U.S. is only around 2 years. And according to a recent Ipsos poll, 39% of American adults have been in a relationship with someone at least 10 years older or younger.
Some people say opposites do attract to a certain extent, but again, it's all about the compatibility. And if a lot of couples we're seeing, even with certain age gaps, they find themselves having compatible long-term goals. I think the taboo thing around cougars and older women, seeking younger partners, it's not as taboo maybe it was a couple decades ago. I think it's something that is being talked about a lot more in our culture. It's definitely being more transparent and a little bit more acceptable. There's a couple of reasons for that. We're finding that older men, it's kind of that don't cry, don't show emotions, and that's due to generational differences. So younger men are a little bit more emotionally present in relationships, and we're finding that's actually what women like.
Nicole also says that in any age gap relationship, communicating expectations is critical.
And that's actually a really good conversation for people to have, especially when I do couples therapy, right? Like, what do you expect of your partner in the short term or in the long term? And same thing, vice versa. And knowing that, maybe if you're going to involve yourself in this relationship, right? Knowing that this may not follow expectations of a traditional relationship, and knowing what are acceptable grounds and what are some grounds to work on as a couple. It's always good to discuss what are the clear expectations of this relationship in the beginning.
Communication is clearly the key in any relationship. And if you're having thoughts about dating someone younger, both Steph and Nicole offer advice.
A relationship is like a garden, so you have to put the work in every single day for it. The more you learn about that partner and the more you learn about yourself and what do you want in a relationship, that can kind of help gear the path towards what the long term can be.
I would just say try it, give it a shot. What do you have to lose? And if it doesn't work out, well then, you're done. Leave it alone. But if it does, now you've tried something different, and maybe that's something that sets your soul on fire.
Even though Latinos make up one of the largest shares of the tech-using market, they're still underrepresented in the workplaces creating those products. So what can be done about that disparity, especially if you're Latina? We're about to find out.
When I started to work, 10 or 15% of the companies were technology companies, and the rest were manufacturing companies or retail companies or banks. Nowadays, every company is a technology company. Today, technology is like reading or writing 200 years ago. If we don't understand how technology works, it's like my grandmother 150 years ago that were not able to read a book or to read a newspaper. Nowadays, the percentage of women in technology is between 15 and 20%. And if we think also, and we have the numbers also for other underrepresented minorities, the percentage is lower. This is a big problem for us as a society. It's a problem for the different technology companies, but it's something that we all need to change. We need to have all the society represented when we are building new applications, when we are building new technologies. There are so many programs that companies can implement. One example could be scholarships. I think that in order to have those candidates that we are looking, from women, from Latin communities, we need to make the work before. We need to make the work in the schools. We need to make the work at home. I think that as a society, educators are, and me as a mother, as an educator, I have the responsibility also to express that need. I love working in technology because with technology we can change the world. One of the things that we should tell our girls in order to encourage them to make a career in technology is that when you work in a technology company, you have the possibility to envision and to design how things are going to be in 5 or 10 years. When I look behind my career, mobile phones doesn't exist when I get my grade in college, and I was a telco engineer at that time. So I had the opportunity to work in new technologies and to envision that technologies before that technologies were something really normal for us, like it's a mobile phone in our pockets today. When we had lockdown due to COVID virus, technology allowed us to be connected with our family, with our friends. We experimented a big change in the way that we work and how we work and where we work. And we learn, all of us as a society, we can work from home or we can work from everywhere. And I'm really optimistic in the fact that that will allow women to hold their career more years, for example, or to work from home, or to have that flexibility that probably women need in order to be successful.
Afro-Latina dancer Katherine Jimenez is not only a choreographer and dance teacher, but she's also the first Mambo instructor at the Ailey Extension Program. And that's why she's today's Latina on the Rise.
My parents come from the Dominican Republic. For anyone who's ever visited the Dominican Republic, they know that our island is all about happiness. And so even though I was born and raised here in New York City, our culture never died. My dad one day came home and asked my sister and I if we wanted to go and take a dance class. And it was a salsa class. And once we took that first dance class, the rest was history, as they say. A year later, we had seen Alvin Ailey, and so I came into the school and I auditioned and I got accepted. And I started to train here in different dance styles: ballet, West African, jazz, tap, flamenco, different modern style dances, but never mambo. Mambo wasn't something that was offered here, so that was something that I always did outside of here. I graduated after maybe 14 years of studying here, and I decided I wanted to tour for a little bit, but never forgetting that, you know, mambo was my first love. About 6 years ago, I was able to become the first New York style mambo instructor for the Ailey School. So that for me was a big accomplishment because it was aligning these two worlds. The beauty of the way that we teach classes here at the Ailey School is that we believe that dance is for everyone. And so our hashtag is real classes for real people. The way that I start my classes is what we call in Mambo a jam session. So I turn on the music, and all that means is that we're jamming out to the music together. And I even start off with my classes saying that if there's something that you can't follow along with, just a little two-step. It's just so that you start to feel the rhythm.
Lights up on Washington Heights.
It was a wonderful experience to be one of the featured dancers in the movie In the Heights. The same way that I feel I'm able to represent my culture, our ancestor, that it's not just me stepping into the room. I'm bringing all of the people who were able to open up the doors, all of the strong Latinas that came before me.
Katherine Jimenez.
Mantequilla was my first single ever. And it was an idea that I had because I wanted to be able to put together music that then we could implement into our performances. As a Latina, it feels powerful to be able to first implement something new into a dance school that has such a beautiful history, to be able to combine those two passions of mine and bring New York style Mambo to the LA school. That is something that till this day makes me very happy. See the way that people react to the music, that they just can't help but to, you know, move a shoulder or snap a little bit, move their heads.
Something like
and I think that if everyone was able to take more dance classes, especially multicultural dance classes, the world would be a better place because we would be more accepting to understand that it's beautiful that we have differences. And my classes, I offer them here at the Ailey Extension every Friday from 6 to 7:30 and every Saturday from 3 to 4:30 p.m.
Bye.
And that's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu and follow our social media profiles because we love sharing our Latina stories with you. And please make sure you tune in next month where we'll talk reproductive rights, learn about traveling as a disabled person, and so much more. ¡Uepa! Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.